So, all right, guys, we are live. We've got the 5 best people in the community. Of course, I'm not one of them.
That's because you live on the East Coast.
Yeah, this
Midwest
is
takeover.
Some reason I'm
literally a Midwest takeover.
You're in Midwest Canada, Aaron. That's how it works.
It's still Midwest. We're taking it.
That's Manitoba.
I mean, technically, you could be in like the eastern part, the western part of Brazil. That's still Midwest.
Yeah.
Ontario's a big province, so
I mean, that's a different hemisphere, man.
Yeah. Well, we are live on YouTube and also on Facebook right now through my Facebook page. So if you have me on Facebook, check it out. Also, we've got 2 major contributors of the show, 3 actually. Ray Callahan up there and right next to me. Aaron Entertainment, who's always great to have everything. Aaron's killing it with these videos he's doing. I was sitting there at work watching him play Spider-Man, and it was awesome. Wrestling Plug Inc., aka John, always kills it doing it at Podcast Weekly. And we got one of the Viking Raiders here.
Viking War Experience. What is it
Well,
now?
I forgot they're still a team.
With a little bit of a Tommaso Ciampa feel. Maybe
this is
like
better than chasing a 24 title. 24
You got
title.
BlueGrass Jeff on for the first time ever on any one show. Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you.
But also, first and foremost, the man, the myth, the legend. It says infamous according to Denise. So, I mean, why don't we just get the whole freaking pig out of the bedroom? How many of you guys watched this guy pull a fast one on the review show last night?
For sure, me.
Well done.
I actually missed this.
laughed.
I fell asleep halfway through it. Sorry, guys.
I caught it this afternoon, but it was
You are
still good.
definitely gonna want to go back and see it.
She's gonna kill you. She's gonna kill you, Anakin.
Literally, the look in her face, it flipped so quickly, and Sean went from "what is this" to just outright "this is amazing." It was better than I did.
And the funny part about it is he sends them a letter, sends them chocolates and stuff like that to butter them up. And in the letter, he doesn't mention where he get the shirt, who helped him get the shirt.
That is not true. Sean did not read the whole letter because I made a whole joke about how he was going to have to send the stuff for her to her, and I said, "Sorry, Denise, it's probably going to come in a box." I mean, there was a whole he cut down some of the letter, which is understandable because
He was trying to end the show.
Exactly.
He just said it was too long. He just said it was too long.
Exactly. But
It was funny though when he realized, like, because at first he thought that it was for her.
oh
But
no,
then when he realized it was her,
No.
Yeah,
he's like,
no.
"Oh, wait a minute."
that was
Me,
for him.
I had a hand in that because of the fact that I ordered that jersey for Sean. Remember that, guys? I lost that jersey. I got him that Red Sox jersey and stuff. So I had his shirt size and stuff like that. So Anakin's literally sitting there, dude. Does your girl do this? And this is the time when I was with Crystal. And I'm like, yeah, she does all this stuff. You know, he's like, get me in touch with her now. Okay, they started talking and stuff, and they have a business arrangement and stuff. And yeah,
So, yeah. I did put it in the letter but he didn't say it. But then I did. I tweeted out a closer look of the picture that I had taken before, and I posted the link to their Facebook site in my tweet. And then this morning I went into the Fightful group and posted in there the same thing, same picture with a link to the Facebook group. So I did give her full credit. Sean just didn't read it on the air.
no, I know. But I had to bust your chops anyways.
No, I know. Well, and then the thing about this is that was originally supposed to go out. Like he was supposed to open that the week of Thanksgiving originally, but it got stuck in Ohio for a little bit. I have no idea why. Maybe Hannah was trying to get her hands on it. I don't know. So then eventually it just returned to me because I had put in my info for shipping it out. So they had the return address. By the time it came back to me, I had COVID. So it's not like I could just go and reship it out. I had to wait for my quarantine to be done, and then I had to, rewash the shirt so that it was all good and stuff, so that Sean wouldn't have any worries. And then last week, Sean was on the Twitch with Jeremy. I don't remember what day it was, but they were playing some game, and I mentioned, and Sean actually says, I'd heard from Anakin that he was supposed to be sending me a shirt, but I haven't gotten it yet, and this has been like 2 or 3 months. And I said, okay, all right. He called me out on Twitch. I need to just do it. So that was actually on Thursday night, I remember, because then the next day of that Friday, I then went and shipped it out and paid $70 to make sure it was there on Monday so that he could open it on the post show.
Jeez.
So
Ridiculous.
So and then he messaged me right before he started the post show and was like, hey, I just need to make sure that there isn't anything in here that would upset our sponsors. So I'm like, nah, shouldn't be, because you've only got one food sponsor that I know of, which is for Magic Spoon, and I don't, and this isn't any of that stuff. But
it's not cereal. So
exactly. So, what I sent him local Dutch treats, so some local Dutch licorice. There are these really cool mint candies that have different Dutch people on them, I guess, and then the Windmill gingerbread almond cookies, which he and Jeremy are a big fan of. So he was legit excited to see those. He was like, these are really, really good. But the idea
random Dutch men on there.
We are in Dutch country, so Dutch specialties are pretty common here.
Yeah. But the thing was, and it was literally just, I went to Meijer and was like, okay, and I went to the Dutch section and was like, okay, here it is. But I had sent one.
Meijer's a Midwest thing, by the way. Midwest takeover.
It's like a Midwest version of Walmart, basically. But I had sent one of each on with the idea that he would send one of it to
smell as bad.
Denise. I didn't have Denise's address along with a private letter for Denise. But then he's like, I'm not sending her all the stuff. I'm like, oh, well, okay. All right. So then I told Denise, if you need to know what I wrote in the letter, let me know and I'll give it to you. I couldn't DM her because her DMs aren't open and she doesn't follow me. But I was like, if you want to know, let me know. I think I got the impression Sean ended up taking a picture of it or reading it to her or something. So I think she does know what it said. But yeah. So on her Friday Sports Skeeta show, I'll pop in there real briefly and send a super chat going, hey, glad we're all good now. See you Monday. And then pop out.
Come on that show.
It was one of those things, I had a hand in it and stuff, so hopefully I was like, wait a minute, there was nothing said about all that stuff. But I wanted to bust Joel's chops because at least with me and him, some of the conversations I'll get random, be like, hey, what's going on? You didn't do this the other day, what the hell?
Oh yeah.
The whole time the Uno test stream that we did on Twitch, we were both talking trash to each other the entire time.
I was legit worried Sean was going to think it was something dumb, but as soon as he let out that first laugh, I was like, that's it. This is golden. And then the whole chat just went nuts over it. I was like, okay, that was all worth it. And Denise's face, her reaction was priceless. I
put it on Facebook. I had to timestamp it so that way she could see it. So it was just and I was going to tag Sean in it and be like, well, I don't think tagging him at 7:00 in the morning would be a good idea. So I just tagged, the two people that did it. So other than that was great. Now, the other thing I'm going to say is that with the 1 year coming up in May, I'm going to be making hoodies soon. So, a few people expect those to come out because those will be really, really good. The design, they're taking the logo and turning it into an alternative type of design. It's still the original, but it's just different colors. So those will be going out to certain people to have as gifts. So that's going to be my next stimulus check.
There is rumor of another one coming out. So
he's actually serious about Biden's talking about it, about having $1,400 stimulus check, and if that goes, 400 of it is gone. That's going straight to that.
Yep.
Other than that, well, yeah, everybody has bills. It never ends.
Yeah.
But why don't we start with this? Alexa's transformation was amazing last night.
I like it. It's good.
But the question I have for everybody here is, do you think it was wasted too early, or do you think it would have been better off during something where they're watching a championship run?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I suppose my question would be is what are they gonna start doing when they start having fans back? You know what I mean? Like, how are they gonna do this? I mean, I don't know. They're doing a lot of things with this storyline, and it feels like I love the Alexa stuff. I mean, I love it. I mean, Alexa is just knocking this out of the park, like no doubt. I get concerned when they do things like this and they don't have a crowd. Like, what is it going to be like if they start doing things like this when there is a crowd? Because we know how cringy that can get.
Well, they'll just have to be a little bit more careful. You probably see a lot more backstage stuff, a lot more pre-recorded stuff. But I mean, they'll have to be a little bit more careful about how they set stuff up. They won't be able to be like, hey, lights black out for 10 seconds and all of a sudden there's a playground there. But I like what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think in regards to a title, like, Asuka has to have had like a real reign. Like, she's never fighting for it. Like, and then she lost last night. I initially was like, wait, that wasn't for the title. What is the point? That, like, it's just they need to book that title to mean something.
Yeah, my only issue with it last night is that they were having a match at all when it's like, you know, this is something that has been building more and more. Like, this could have potentially been like a match at the Rumble, or even depending on how it goes, you know, you do a match at Chamber or Fastlane or even at WrestleMania, and they just throw it on a random Raw, and it's just another example of how the pay-per-view matches end up being the rematch, and the first match is just on a regular episode of TV. They did it with Sasha and Bayley. I think they did it with Sasha and Carmella as well. And like, they just, you know, they do it all the time. I don't have a problem with them having the match. I don't have a problem with Alexa doing that kind of stuff during the match. I just would rather them save it for a pay-per-view. But that's still me being in the mindset of, oh, the pay-per-views, like, they're supposed to mean something. Like, that's what you're supposed to build, when the reality is ever since the network became a thing, they don't, you know, the pay-per-views don't mean as much anymore. And especially now with the big TV deals, it's more about stuff for TV and the ratings rather than building towards a monthly event.
I almost don't know if you'll see like the major women's titles on the line at Rumble. I think you might see more of the tag titles go online, because then you do get Asuka in there.
I think
but then you've got 30 women that you've got to get into a Rumble match too. So
Then you're just wasting Asuka's title run even more. If you keep putting it off.
You're not even using
it's the worst.
and
It's the
Asuka
worst
together.
title reign since the brand split for a women's title run. She got it because of a fluke, because Becky was pregnant. She hasn't wrestled to anybody really of any caliber that often. She's in the tag picture more.
I say her SmackDown run was quite similar, actually, if you think about it.
I guess you're right.
But her SmackDown run at least had her beating Becky clean in the middle of the ring at the Rumble, like, and not just beating her, making her tap out. Asuka has not had that definitive victory, and even like the stuff last night, like the stuff where she was like acting freaked out by Alexa. That just gave me vibes to the match she had with Carmella, where oh my gosh, what was his name?
James Ellsworth.
Thank you. Where James Ellsworth came in and he was wearing the Asuka robe and the mask, and he's doing all this stuff, and Asuka's like freaked out, and it's like, that is not what Asuka is. When you book Asuka like that, she's like, it's dumb. She can be a little bit goofy and silly. That's fine. But it also means that she will just go in the ring and she will go on a tear. And when you have her freaking out over somebody who's acting a little weird, especially like when Alexa Bliss is doing like her best imitation of Neo from the end of the Matrix after he's like come back to life, and you've got Smith who's fighting him, and he just goes no, and he's just doing this stuff and blocking moves and eventually just doing it with one hand. That's what Alexa was doing a lot of last night, and it's just, and it's
basically Asuka just proved last night she doesn't watch the show.
we all know that they don't watch the product.
Alexa's been acting like this for months.
Yeah,
just now, like, keep the two away from each other as much as possible and do it subliminally, and then like you said, have a big blow off at the Rumble or even Mania. And you could do a cinematic match at Mania if you wanted to because there's not going to be a ton of fans there. There'll be some.
Well, right, you could have done it with anybody but Asuka.
Yeah,
you could have, anybody else. It didn't matter. But this is par for the course for them. I mean, it's with everything. You know
what? They're just giving Asuka something to do because they haven't been really doing anything. They split Charlotte's their tag team champions with Charlotte. Charlotte's doing her own thing with Lacey Evans, which is another story. And Asuka's
and they're tag team.
They're doing something with Charlotte, but they're just using Asuka for something else because they have nothing to do with Asuka. They're not using them together.
It's a pain. It's becoming a pain because of the fact that you're wasting the tag titles and you're not doing something properly. And at the end of the day, that it makes the Dusty Cup for the women's side, and I hate to say this, irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. When I was watching it today. I was like, man, why does this matter?
Because if you're just gonna have both Asuka and Charlotte and just do their own singles things, and you're not going to allow the tag titles to flourish, what's the point of having them?
And not only do their own singles things, do singles things that just don't make any sense. Like,
oh boy, yes.
And you wonder why this is a Midwest takeover.
Hey, and speaking of Midwest takeover, we're talking about the tag titles. Why not my hometown girl Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan get them titles?
Yeah.
Let's go!
Oh man,
yeah.
I can actually call
Billy
it out.
Kay, if the Riot Squad had the tag titles, Billy Kay would be like, "Look,
Freebird.
If I know of what it's like to hold those titles, I'll be such a good manager for you. I know exactly how to utilize them and present yourself as champions, whatnot. Like, she would be amazing in that role."
I think it's going to be a good thing because of the fact that if you give someone else the titles and have them float like the original idea was originally, it would put more stake into them and people would be more invested into them.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes it hard to be invested in some of those things when, it's just staying on one brand. If you're going to keep it on one brand, say it's just for one brand, not say, oh, they're supposed to float between all this stuff.
Well, invested is a great word too, because I was going to say, like, how many times have for me personally, have been invested in Liv Morgan? I've been invested in Liv Morgan, I don't know, 3 or 4 times over the past 2 or 3 years. You know what I mean? How many more times do I have to be? Is it going to happen? I mean, you kind of lose interest.
And they're supposedly high on her to begin with, so why not just pull the trigger?
I keep hearing that.
and it's not like there's travel issues where you can't just do this thing across all 3 shows. They're all in the same city. Well, I mean, Orlando's pretty close to Tampa. It's not that far. So, I mean,
2 of the 3 are in the same building.
Yeah, you could just, and they don't care about the brand split anyway. They could be like, oh, we're bringing this NXT team to Raw tonight to challenge for the titles. You know what I mean? There's ways to do it to help us be invested, but instead we got Lacey Nicole Smith, if anybody remembers Anna Nicole Smith.
Oh, God. Yep. Wow.
Yeah. Hey, Ric Flair's a beautiful man.
Listen. I've got issues with that whole situation because
he's a beautiful man. I'm telling you.
I agree. Ric Flair, one of the GOATs all day, but he's he's on these documentaries bawling. He's constantly crying about how he wasn't a good father and he wasn't there for his kids and he spent too much time out there partying. And then he's like, let me screw over my daughter for a married woman whose husband has been on WWE TV.
He has.
And her daughter.
And he's married. I saw somebody on Twitter today comparing this to the Edge and Vicky Guerrero storyline and how, that got Edge right to the main event of WrestleMania. And I said, first of all, Vicky was a widow. Vicky was... It's like, first of all, Vicky was a widow. She wasn't actively married at the time. She was a widow. She was not the mother of an active wrestler in the company. And Edge already had that reputation of being somewhat of a homewrecker because of the whole Lita and Matt Hardy thing that happened.
And I understand that Bray Wyatt isn't the Fiend at home, so I get that it's a story. But when you promote the home lives of these people on your television program and want us to just up and forget and not bring it up. If they would have brought it up and been like, isn't Rick and Lacey married? This is scandalous. I'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah,
I mean, Lacey had her daughter at a pay-per-view event a couple months ago, and they put that in canon.
I witnessed this live. So after I went to a house show in 2019, right, in Toronto.
Mhm.
So after the show, the wrestlers come out out of the garage in the rental cars, right? Lacey Evans, she always brings her family to every house show, to every show.
Mhm.
I seen her with her family in a rental car, and I'm like, when I see the story of Ric Flair and Lacey Evans, I get reminded of that, and the storyline with Bailey, because how Bailey was knocking Bailey is Sasha. I can't forget Sasha, but how they were making fun of her home life, her family life.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, and the biggest difference between Edge and Vicky and Lacey and Rick, one of the storylines was good, one is not. And
Yeah.
ultimately that's what Trump said. If this was a good storyline, we'd be like, well, this is kind of weird. It's like the whole thing, like when Angel Garza proposed to his fiance on NXT, and then he shows up on Raw like a few weeks later and starts flirting with Charlie Caruso, which is something that Alex Pulowski always brought up every single time on Sour Grabs. He would always bring that up.
Bachelorette too. Who's a Bachelorette?
Yeah,
if they didn't promote it on all of their social medias and all of their shows and make us like, look at Angel Garza, he's engaged, good for him.
Yeah.
And then he hits on everyone constantly.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be so upset about it, but if you're gonna mix reality with your stories, like you gotta not make us feel stupid.
And if you're gonna do that, like build that into the character. Like have someone say to Lacey and Rick, like, you both have, like, you're married separately, and have them be like, we're not talking about that right now. Or like give it something that makes it look like they're being sleazy. Or with the Angel Garza, like, aren't you engaged? And he's like, she doesn't know. Or whatever. Do something that either makes them look sleazy.
Even she doesn't watch the show.
Make it
or even say like,
Sean,
you know what, the relationships are open. Like, hey, you know what? Everyone's got their own thing. Like, we're not here to shame lifestyles, but like, explain it somehow.
To quote Sean, make wrestling make sense. Make it sense in general.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're bringing people's lives into it and make it impact in those ways, just make it interesting. Make it relevant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying, okay, so we're going to bring Bray and JoJo's lives into it, but yet he's prancing around with Alexa. So,
that's not canon though.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying though, in general though, it's just, just to get to the point across. I mean,
well, he's prancing around with a mask on. I mean,
it's also like we also have a whole host of examples of where they do bring in real life and mix it with storylines, and it ends up being bad. Exhibit A: Becky and Seth. I love Becky. I had
forgotten about that.
She is my all-time favorite female competitor who's current right now. But that Seth Rollins storyline, she managed to get out of it okay. Seth did not.
What issue did you have with that? You're talking about when they did the Extreme Rules duel match, right, with Corbin and Lacey?
Well,
is that what you're talking about?
That too. I mean, that was just a case.
That was the end of it.
Right. I mean, that's a case where you had Becky and Lacey, which wasn't working. Seth and Baron, which wasn't working. They put them together in one match. And also at the end of that match, that's when Lesnar came in and cashed in and won. It was kind of like a whole perfect storm. But
that had nothing to do with their relationship. It was just bad WWE, which is typical WWE.
They put them together because they had announced that they were in a relationship.
I agree with Anakin.
I broke the internet.
Because there were two top talents at the time. One had the WWE Universal title, and the other one was she wasn't a double champion at the time, but she was a world champion, Becky Lynch. That's why they did it.
Yeah,
you get eyes.
I mean, it still there's a difference between blurring the lines and stuff, and it's redundant to keep doing it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys watch the day of the Rumble 2016 yet?
I did because you said we were going.
I did not.
Oh my god, it was so
good.
Throwback,
you forgot to tell me the homework assignment for the week.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it.
I am unprepared.
Yeah.
I watched it because I did get the homework assignment.
Because of the fact that I figured it's been on the network for a couple of days, figured everybody else would watch it. But anyways, it was so good. And the thing about the line
2 days ago.
Yeah, well, the line that AJ says that he doesn't want in his household is I can't or I won't. It's
Look,
just
look, throwback. I don't have time to take away from all the Billy Kay vignettes I'm watching for AJ Styles. No, I'm just kidding. I'll watch it, but just I didn't know.
It is good. It is.
I
Yeah.
heard those are always good, by the way. I mean,
Yeah.
They
you
are.
throw
Yeah.
one of them on. I try not to throw one of those on if I'm like, getting ready for bed or
That's-
something, because then I'm like, I
that's
gotta
something-
stay up and watch this.
that's
'cause you
something
can't-
And then you want to watch
good at.
4 of them.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
something WWE is actually good at. Is putting that stuff on
Well, you
documentaries
had
and
if
stuff.
they could
You
do
would
that
think
on
they-
regular TV.
Yeah, I was just going there. I was just saying, man, if they would put that kind of, that work and that kind of like dedication into all their promos and all their video packages like that, man. I mean, they're booking half as good as those would be.
Yeah.
I mean, geez.
You know
So,
what
the
the
one interesting-
difference is?
Go ahead.
The difference is I guarantee Vince isn't doing much with those.
Yep. I was gonna
I
say
mean,
that.
there it is.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say that they don't have Vince trying to micromanage it, so they're able to be free and to actually do good stuff. The one interesting, there were several interesting things, but one interesting thing that I learned was that the first time, well, actually 2 things. First of all, when they first bring out Samoa Joe, his slate, I don't know if you noticed it, it said Untold Samoa Joe, which makes me think, are we going to get a Samoa Joe one later on? And they just took bit from this interview for that and put it in this one.
I
But-
didn't see that.
But when Joe talks about first meeting Styles, he didn't like him.
he
He
hated him.
thought like Styles believed all of the crap that he was spouting, and then he goes, "But I was wrong, mostly." like just that little bit thing, and he made a
And the
little
little
reference.
dig he took back is about how the whole storyline with Wendy and
Yes,
AJ,
Yep.
stuff like that. He's
Yeah.
like, he's literally was saying like, he's a great dad sometimes.
yeah,
And he's just like finding ways to dig on him and stuff like that. But I mean, it was so good in the story about it, how, they kept it a secret and stuff that you don't get it. But the reason why I'm bringing it up is with the Rumble coming up real soon, do you think there's an AJ-esque entry coming in?
No.
You mean a switchblade?
What is this week
No.
3, 4?
NXT talent. That's
Have
it.
you about this?
Oh,
no
give me
surprises.
switchblade.
Not
I
this
would.
year.
I would.
I
Love,
don't.
I would
Here's
love
the
it.
thing. I don't think you would not.
Whoa.
You wouldn't get that. What?
Yeah, what?
Matt
Yeah,
Hardy
what?
and Private Party are on Impact right now, and they are
really?
walking up
Nice.
on the Good Brothers.
Let's go.
But you would. I mean, you're not going to
I
get.
love this Impact AW crossover stuff.
You-
Haters
sign
can
me
hate.
up.
I think it's awesome.
Just in the veins all day long.
But you're not going to get the kind of impact of if Jay White is coming to WWE, which I don't think he is.
Not this year.
You're not going to get that kind of impact simply because there just aren't fans there to react. If there were fans there to react, then I think it's very possible it could be close to that same level. Although Styles was also coming in not only with a strong resume coming out of Japan, but also spending 11 years in TNA. So he had been known to North American audiences for a long period of time, which is something Jay White just hasn't had. Jay White has only done 3-4 years, I think, with New Japan. So I don't think it would be on that same level.
Well,
That's fair.
I think I just
Agreed.
recorded with Jeff Hawkins right before the show. And with that promo, just segue into this because of who I'm talking about now, I think she would be the female version, and I've tweeted about this, of AJ Styles, that's Deonna Purrazzo. Just with how her career has gone and stuff like that, and how amazing work she's doing in Impact. I could see
She's not
this
going
almost,
anywhere for a while.
No, not for
Very
a while,
Taya.
but
I think he's saying that they're it
Taya's
looks like
down
her
to
career is paralleling AJ's in a
pretty
way.
much.
I got you.
I can see like her going the same route as like, you have to remember she was, in NXT and then on the main roster not doing anything. AJ, when he was in there, he was in WWE and, WCW for a while, and then he ended up in TNA. So, I mean, different ways of getting there, but they got real hot and real quick, and it could end up being the same way. So do you guys see this generation AJ Styles being Deonna Purrazzo possibly when everything's said and done?
No.
I think the access that we have to stuff now is so much easier than when Styles was doing all that. So I think
it's
the
Tessa
market
Blanchard.
is.
I think it's
Yeah.
Styles. I think it would be more likely Tessa Blanchard is the Styles, not Deonna Purrazzo.
But she's pretty much being held back by like personal issues where he was held back because the industry just like Vince never signed him.
I don't think Deonna would be it simply because when she, her time in NXT was nothing. It was nothing. Like she never won a single match while she was in NXT.
0-20. 0-20 for TV matches, I think she said, or something like that.
Yeah. And the fact that she's doing awesome in Impact now just goes to show how much of a waste she was in WWE, because she's really able to shine now. But the thing with AJ Styles is you have to have that big name recognition not gotten from WWE, and in order to have that kind of impact.
It's not Deonna.
No, but you know what, Aaron? I'm right there with you. Tessa Blanchard, I think, would, because she's got the Blanchard last name. Mm-hmm. She made history, good or bad, as the first female men's heavyweight champion in a major company. And she does have that talent, and also especially if they debuted her and immediately put her into a storyline with Charlotte, that because that is a natural story that is ridiculously easy to tell, which means of course WWE would probably find a way to somehow mess it up, but Tessa
would hook up with Ric Flair.
Something along those lines, but yeah, I think her personal issues, I think, would be a problem, because Triple H, he's not the VP in charge of, and she's not. Triple H is not the VP of talent anymore, but he still has a big role in there.
And any
Triple
company
H
could get away with the
It's
baggage
WWE.
that Tessa has is WWE. I mean, they still put Velveteen Dream on TV.
Yeah, that's true. I think
they still put Matt Riddle on TV, and that still hasn't necessarily resolved.
But that's
yet.
also but that's different when you already have somebody on your employ. And let's not forget, they did get rid of a whole bunch of NXT UK guys, and that I think that is more Hunter run than Vince.
I hate to be that guy, because they all should have got fired, but all the people that got fired weren't making that company any money.
Well,
that's true, because look at the cruiserweight champion.
Yeah, and that's why Vince wouldn't care, because Vince has always said, at the end of the day, if we can do business with each other, let's do business. And it's why he has been able to to do things with people that you never would have thought would have ever been back in WWE. Nobody ever thought that Ultimate Warrior would ever show up back in WWE again. But Vince was able to ultimately not let personal feelings get in the way of doing business, which is both a good and a bad thing.
Look at Bruno.
If it was completely Vince's call, I think Tessa probably would have gotten signed. But Triple H is a little bit more savvy, and he's more aware of what's going on in other promotions than Vince is, because we've heard time and time again, Vince doesn't watch anything other than his own product. He doesn't know about what's going on in New Japan or what's going on in Impact or Ring of Honor. Maybe he knows what's going on in AEW because they're a big enough threat, but all the other companies he doesn't. Whereas Triple H seems more like he will keep an eye on other people. But the fact of the matter too is Tessa had her own problems when she was there, because she was part of one of the Mae Young Classics, and even then there was reported issues.
She never won.
Well, right.
That's why I was pointing out about Deonna, though. Deonna, it is parallel to AJ a little bit. Now, here's the question: is that when AJ's WCW and WWE/F run early in his career, do you remember any matches on Raw or SmackDown that were like, wow, I have to pay attention to this guy?
Was he on
No.
Raw?
Yes, he was.
Okay.
I didn't remember.
him because they showed
he
him
did
doing
some jobber
jagged and
matches and stuff.
Yeah, but they showed him on some Raw matches and stuff, like just like being just like pushing the talent over, kind of like a setup match or something like that. But I can tell you that some of those matches that they showed in there, I don't remember any of them. But the thing is that, you know, he once he got into Impact and stuff like that, everything went right for him. It could be the same way with NXT with Deonna, and then it turned around, and years later she could end up going back and just killing it like AJ did.
Maybe in 5 years.
You mentioned like not remembering those matches, and like I look at that and go, it was 20 years ago. I was 12 years old. Like I'm not going to remember low card, mid card matches, especially like who a jobber was. But I mean, even still, like you don't remember too many jobbers. Like I didn't remember the fact that I actually saw Chris Statlander on Smackdown a couple of years ago against, I think it was against Charlotte. And I didn't realize that until...
Wasn't she part of the Brooklyn Bellas against...
yes.
Maybe that's what it was.
Peyton Royce and Billy Kay.
Maybe that's what it was. But
when they were the title.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that until she got to... I saw her at a CZW show before she went to AEW. Okay, yeah. But yeah, I saw her at a CZW show right before she signed with AEW, and I was looking up information. It was, she's been on WWE before. I mean, I don't remember that, but
it's the same thing when Britt Baker did the job for Nia on a 2016 Raw, and that was, you know, and I hadn't heard of Britt until All In. That was the first time that I had heard of All In, and I was like, she's actually dating Adam Cole, and it's like that was stuff I didn't know. But you know, I think I don't think Deonna. I think Deonna would have a long way to go before she could get to that level of Styles. Because the other thing too is Styles was having incredible matches all over the world. I mean, you know, people still talk to this day about the triple threat with him and Samoa Joe and Christopher Daniels.
That match ruled.
As perhaps the greatest TNA match that's ever been had. Then he goes to Japan, becomes IWGP champion, the first Westerner since Brock Lesnar to hold that title, and then in his last Wrestle Kingdom has a barn burner with Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the kind of pedigree Deonna would have to get in other places besides just Impact to be able to have that kind of no pun intended, impact in WWE if she was to show up in the Rumble.
But and I, like I said, I think the market is so different than it was 15, 20 years ago that I don't know if those types of comparisons are really even relevant. And need I remind you of Tommaso Ciampa as Muhammad Hassan's lawyer?
Oh, that's right.
Johnny Gargano as the Liechtenstein champion.
My gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh boy.
They all come from somewhere, right? They all come from somewhere.
Yeah.
You have to start somewhere anyways. I mean, look at Sasha Banks.
MJF was a bodyguard of Samoa Joe's.
I was just going to say that, and he got shoved. That was great.
That never happened. If you ask
MJ, I was going to say MJF denies that happened.
That's not true because it shows up on Warren's pre-roll before every single stream. You always have that thing of Samoa Joe.
MJF.
But within kayfabe, MJF denies that was him, though.
Well, how many people were part of Rosebuds? How many wrestlers?
Yeah, that's true.
Braun was one of them.
Becky, Braun,
Dolph Ziggler and the Spirit Squad.
Oh. Yeah, but everybody remembers that because when he debuted as Dolph Ziggler, so we were like, wait a minute, wasn't he one of the Spirit Squad? Yes. That was a little different because the Spirit Squad had that big sustained push with TX and as the tag team champions, you know.
Yeah.
See what you started, throwback?
Kenny!
Yeah, I always start.
Vicky! I don't remember the other ones.
I mean, it's just interesting to see where they go. I mean, AJ was really one of those bouncers that Kevin Nash destroyed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and he was one of the paramedics that Jeff Jarrett took out on that Nitro when they were trying to help Brett.
Yeah,
Jeff Jarrett.
Really?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Did you see The
That was
promo
bad.
that he cut last night. No, above his TV, he had like a street sign, and it said Slapnuts Boulevard. I was like, oh my God, get this guy off my TV.
Somebody on
Anyways.
Twitter
You
last
remember
night said,
Goldberg. You remember Goldberg.
somebody on Twitter last night said all we need to see on there is a GCW title.
If we're talking Jarrett moments, the best one is when he guitar smashed Beetlejuice from the Howard Stern show back in the day. He goes, "What'd you say?" Whap!
Or getting beat by China.
I was gonna say I liked watching China beat him up.
Oh, China. Those were good matches. China was awesome.
Yeah,
She was.
but
There's a match that she did that WWE will never push because of China's history, and there's there's a wardrobe malfunction in it. But she did a match with Lita, like early in Lita's run, and it ruled. But yeah, they'll never really push that one.
I've been listening to a lot of audiobooks recently, and I've been listening to like all the WWE ones because of Stone Cold one, stuff like that to listen. And I sat there and listened to the Lita one, and she's like, I think Joni never liked me. I think she just tolerated me. It was interesting to see what she thought and how when she filmed the TV series Dark Angel, James Cameron, they just ignored her. Yeah, she was in one of the James Cameron show, Dark something or whatever it was.
I mean, that must be Dark. It must be Dark Angel. I didn't really see the Dark Angel. I've only seen the show once. I saw it for the first time after the first Fantastic Four movie came out, and I was like, "Ooh, Jessica Alba, she's pretty. What else has she been in?" So, and then I looked it up, and I was like, "Oh, she did a whole show." So,
I mean, it's one of those things. Plus, Jessica Alba was in was in a bunch of teen movies too. It was ridiculous.
Was it Idle Hand of Jessica Alba or something?
Yeah.
You know what I realized? Jessica Alba. So there's a Disney Channel original movie called Punks. She's in that movie. She's the chick who is the cousin of the Johnny Tsunami kid. I was like, whoa! Like
I think she was in Legally Blonde too.
With this?
I don't know. We just turned the other way.
China was a third rock from the sun.
It was just interesting to hear, like, you know, her take on China anyways. But that's something that is a good reader or a listen to anyway. But, you know, we got to get this thing on track. Smackdown was awesome this week. We did a watch along and somebody had technical issues with Uno. So we just had Rob.
We got it fixed.
We got it fixed, yeah, but not on the YouTube show. But we were literally hanging out, me, Rob, Ray, and Anakin watching it, and we were just going nuts. Did you guys, John, Aaron, and Jeff, did you guys like the swerve at the end for, you know, Pierce and Roman, where the line he says is, "I've been waiting for you to sign this all night," and just gets up and plays the card, one thing that every wrestling fan hates. Card subject to change.
Well, I would have liked to have heard part of it. That would have been great. Because the technical difficulties with the microphone, half of what he was saying kept cutting out.
Yeah.
No, I didn't actually like it. I thought play it out a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we all know what's going to happen. You know, Pierce isn't going to wrestle that match. They're not going to let that happen at the Royal Rumble. But play it out. They're just so quick to blow their load, like we just talked with Alexa and Asuka.
Yeah.
Let it simmer. Yeah. Let us think that that's going to happen, and you know, play it out. But nope, they were like, all right. I think it's because everybody crapped on it, so they were like, oh,
play out to the Royal Rumble.
Yeah,
you're probably
if,
right on that.
If you're doing it on card subject, if you're doing it card subject to change, do it on the show of Rumble. Yeah. Don't say anything about Kevin Owens. Just make us think he's gone. And then it's just Pierce comes out for his entrance and he falls during his entrance. Oh, I can't go. Hey, remember, card subject to change.
Like
Kevin Owens music hits. Boom.
Roman right now is entertaining enough to carry this program without Kevin Owens until the Rumble, right? So you just have him and Pierce go back and forth. You have Pierce try to figure out ways to get out of it. I don't know, just something to keep us in the loop so that when I show up on Sunday for the Rumble, I'm like, oh shit, Adam Pierce is gonna die, and then they're like, boop, just kidding, Kevin Owens is here.
We
Now-
need Adam.
but-
We need Adam
they-
Pearce going with Gable, learning how to
Yeah.
wrestle again.
Yeah, something.
But
There you
That was-
the thing that was interesting, though, the
but
reason why I was
now-
bringing
but
that
now
up
I'm
is
thinking is like Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns again. Great. What more?
What I
can
was
they-
bringing
what
up
more
that
can
was
they
my
say
whole
in the
issue
next
with
3
it.
weeks, though? What more can they say promo wise? They've already said it all.
See, I felt that the whole
they. No,
it
you
felt-
missed. Did you watch Talking Smack?
I
No.
didn't. I missed
No.
it this week.
Okay, then
I
I was
you
watching
didn't.
Billy
you-
Kay stories.
You need to. You need to watch Talking Smack from last week because of the fact that after they pulled that, they continued the story on Talking Smack.
But okay, that's great. But the problem is that needs to be on SmackDown. I shouldn't have to go to Talking Smack. It's the same reason. It's the same thing. When people complain about storylines happening on Dark and then they happen on Dynamite and there's no explanation, or stuff that happens on BTE and then it pops up on a Dynamite and they're like, well, you should be watching Dark and BTE. And it's like, the problem is you're going to have people who don't have the time or the desire to watch
Or the
entire
network.
stuff.
Or the
I
network.
should- Right. I shouldn't have to watch Talking Smack to make it feel like it works. They should be able to do it within the 2 hours of SmackDown.
Or even
issue-
recap it on the following SmackDown of, hey, this
Sure.
happened on Talking Smack.
Even
Sure.
we-
Which,
Well,
and,
isn't it-
and they have done that. But my whole thing with that was that it fell flat once it was announced that it was Kevin Owens because we just had him at TLC. If it had been Nakamura, that would have been more interesting, because then it would have been like Pierce going, "Hey, Nakamura, you got screwed out of this title match. I didn't want to be in there."
I mean,
will
Owens
put
got
you in
screwed
your
too,
place.
though. I mean, he got handcuffed to the
Hell, you
cage.
could have Nakamura
Well,
and
sure.
KO
Triple threat.
take on Roman. Yeah,
Next
you could
pay-per-view
do
after
that.
Rumble.
Just keep them both.
gonna be
Keep
2.
Nakamura hot. Keep him
Mhm.
having bangers. Keep Kevin Owens away until the Rumble. Boom. And then we're like,
But-
oh shit. Then we're surprised.
2
We're
more.
like, oh, swerve.
Pay-per-view.
Instead, we were like, wait a minute. It was kind of like when
Yeah.
Kevin Owens retired and then was back next week.
Yeah,
But
but
also,
like,
you have a problem where you're now creating another person getting hot at the same time with Cesaro after the last couple of ones.
But I
What do
mean,
you think
that's a
that's
good
going?
problem to have. I'd rather have it be that problem than the who's supposed to fight for the title. No,
Right.
I
Yeah.
would rather have that
Which is
problem
probably
than what the women's title has on SmackDown right now. It's like, who's really
and
the
Raw,
challenger?
and Raw,
and Raw. That's
yeah.
Well,
That's why, like, I kind
let's
of
see
want.
Sasha Banks.
They
wrestle that
should
guy.
want to line up these guys to take down
you
Roman. 'Cause we all
want
wanna
to see a woman beat a
who's gonna
man
beat
up?
him.
That's awesome, Aaron.
Becky Lynch did it to James Ellsworth. Remember that? She
Yeah.
beat Ellsworth up, and
Alger's not a real wrestler.
and then
He's really
yeah, I mean, they've already shown that they'll do that.
Yeah, but it's just funny, Aaron. Just say, "Yeah, I just want to see her beat the crap out of somebody."
Well, we also saw Rhea Ripley beat up Robert Stone last
Raquel
year.
Gonzalez beat up Boa.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, that freaking neck breaker that happened from Candice to Shotzi was killer, though. That was awesome.
Yeah. What are these random tag teams in NXT? Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez. Are they both like going after Io Shirai? Like, how's that going to work?
Who knows?
I think that's the appeal of that. It's like, oh, are they going to coexist? They might get, they're probably going to cost each other the top, the
How will they ever
win.
coexist?
Exactly.
It's the same
Hey.
thing as every fan hates. It's like card subject to
It should
change.
be with
How are
Cal
they going to
Gonzalez,
do
though.
everything? And then all of a
Gonzalez.
sudden, you've got Shayna and Nia.
Look, it should be Raquel Gonzalez going after Io Shirai because she has beaten 3 former NXT Women Champions in the past few months. Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Ember Moon. It should be Raquel Gonzalez going after Io Shirai for the title, not those 2.
I'm down.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting considering the fact that Rumble's a few weeks away and they're prepping everything up, and there's no takeover for Rumble, which is weird. Feels absolutely out of sorts for a little bit.
well, it's the second year in a row they've done it. Although last year
Well,
they had
Worlds
the
Collide.
Worlds Collide, yeah, which obviously they can't do this year.
I think their plan is to have takeovers on Sundays now for permanent.
Yeah, they're doing one
permanently.
on Valentine's Day because the following week is Elimination Chamber. So
Mhm.
they're kind of doing the takeovers the week before.
Which
So-
I'm
so-
fine with that.
How-
So
especially-
does that
my
mean
wife
Elimination
into
Chamber,
watching
Anakin? I get my
NXT
cake?
on Valentine's Day.
Honey. Maybe.
Well, we're gonna probably be doing a lot watch along anyways, because we're probably gonna get started doing some of those more
Well,
and more. But it's going to be my birthday week, so why not? I'll be drinking a beer and just literally enjoying myself watching Elimination Chamber and Anakin, and everybody will keep me in check.
Speaking of pay-per-views, I think it was after last week's show. Yeah, it was because it was on Saturday. The WrestleMania news broke.
Yeah,
of that. So I don't know if you want to
During
talk
the
about
NFL
that.
games.
It's going to be interesting to see what they do for the next three years. I had somebody make a suggestion before all this COVID crap happened that they thought, and it's somebody in the wrestling media, as I can't say it on the record who it is. It was just off the cuff. It was just an opinion and this is this person's opinion, that a WrestleMania would be back in Boston at some point. And now the way they keep pushing some of these back, do you guys see that actually happening besides New York?
I see Vegas.
Does Gillette Field, is that something exposed to the air, or is it closed dome?
No, it's open.
I see Vegas. I see Vegas as WrestleMania 40.
Because if you do 44 in Boston at Gillette, like let's say late April or something like that, if they push it back that far, it will be the 30th anniversary of Stone Cold winning the title.
Great
and it will
match.
be the last pay-per-view, WrestleMania pay-per-view that has been in Boston. It's the only one, but I'm talking about major for pay-per-view because SummerSlam was a huge thing here, and that got taken out of the way. So I mean,
you're just hoping for that.
You're gonna get SummerSlam. I guarantee you're gonna get SummerSlam back. You're gonna get SummerSlam back when everything's back to normal. You're getting SummerSlam. You're gonna be the first one to get the normal SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I don't know. They might go back to Brooklyn because
Brooklyn fake fans.
Wow.
Oh,
New York.
After last week, Reed and Anakin getting on fire, let freaking Aaron go.
I mean, I have nothing to say. New York is a good wrestling town, but like they always make it sound like New York is the best wrestling crowd in the world, or especially in the U.S., which is not. It's not even the best sports town. So,
yeah, I mean it. I think if anything, if you look at the talent that's come out of New York City for wrestling, it's a good amount, but not as much as Massachusetts. Because how many of you people you hear in the wrestling industry have been trained by Kowalski? That guy's when he
this is the
Canadian,
Midwest,
by the way.
Midwest takeover.
Yeah.
If you're trained by Canadian, you're doing
We
good.
produce plenty of good wrestlers here too.
Chicago does really well.
Minnesota,
Yeah.
man. Minnesota.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
This
Minnesota.
guy, after all.
Yeah, I'm in the Viking
very
right there.
good.
Come on.
Kevin Nash.
That's
We got Rhino.
but the thing is
we got a
that
lot.
Kofi
Scott
champion,
Steiner.
Sasha champion, Cena champion, Triple H champion.
Hold on.
Is it Triple H?
Minnesota, Ric Flair. I can keep going, but like I think that pretty much is good.
Cena and Flair cancel each other out for titles.
No, Flair
Mr.
has more.
Perfect, Rick
Wait.
Rude.
No, they're
16 each.
you're correct. Okay.
So, but there you have Triple H, who has 14 titles.
Okay.
Sasha.
Hold on. He's like
Hold on.
Connecticut.
No.
isn't he?
You know what? I'm going to be controversial
he's
right
New,
here.
He's
I'm gonna be
He's New
controversial.
Hampshire.
I'm going to be
He's New
controversial
England.
right here. I don't think Boston can claim Sasha. She was born, because I just looked this up because I heard this once. She was born in California and then lived in Minnesota. She only moved to Boston when she started wrestling.
So she's like the female Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No, but
Yeah,
the thing
Chris
is,
Jericho was born in Canada.
Here's where she lived.
She lived in she went to high school here in Massachusetts. Literally.
Didn't she move a lot though in her life because of her brother?
To quote,
No, she lived in Minnesota.
No.
She moved
Reed-
a lot apparently.
Reed even said it. Reed went to high school with her, and he
Somebody
said it last.
fire up the Wikipedia.
I'm looking at it
Wikipedia
right
can
here.
never lie.
She settled in Boston, Massachusetts, where she began her professional wrestling career.
Yeah, but Wikipedia.
It's because they moved to Minnesota to find schools and hospitals for her brother who has autism.
Yeah, and the thing is, her mom got a job here, when she was still in high school.
Okay, but that's high school. That's not her hometown. It's not like where she grew up.
I think But Anakin's saying Anakin's saying she wasn't born in Boston. It's just
No,
she's trained
but
in
She
Boston.
wasn't born or had her childhood. in
Where all those
Boston.
people in
Still.
Minnesota
It's like
were
saying-
raised like he was
just
born, they were born there.
It's just something they
Brock
say. It's like how
Lesnar.
it's like how they used to say
Where's
Carmella is the
Gilbert
princess
from?
of Staten Island, and she's not
We
from
haven't
New
talked.
York.
We haven't talked about
the
Gilbert
thing is
yet.
that if you look at the list of
Yeah.
wrestlers that are
Gilbert.
from where they are, she's on the Massachusetts page.
The only
Yeah,
reason
but
I'm
that's
here is for
Wikipedia.
Gilbert
Anybody
talk.
can
Let's
edit
go.
it.
Keep getting
Yeah, and
Anybody
you
can
just
do
said
it.
I just looked it up on Wikipedia. Anybody can.
This is
Yeah,
silly.
but they have
This
sources.
is fun.
They're cited sources.
I didn't say it was fun. I just said we're being silly.
I know.
But yeah,
That's why
Gilbert.
it's fun.
about it.
yesterday on TV. Drew McIntyre was on TV yesterday.
Yeah. This is
I know
why
a lot
I
of
love
people
this
hate
This is
show.
where
it,
you-
but I laughed at that a
you
lot.
started this.
We're off the rails again.
Oh, we always get off the rails. I mean, look what happened last week.
Instagram.
Me, Ray, and Kevin were just sitting back watching it, and then freaking Reed and Anakin going back and forth. I was like, that was awesome.
It's like who cares if this is best talent? Maybe if you enjoy them from wherever you are, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Amen, brother.
Impact is throwing out Taya Valkyrie right now.
Yeah, she's done. She might end up in WWE.
Like
I
on the
think
taping, though, they're
Anakin,
kicking
you
her out
remember
of
on
the building.
Warren's show, I mentioned that, right? About Taya Valkyrie.
Well, there was. Hold on.
I want to see her and Maurice as like a mean duo. Like they just go backstage and just bully everybody.
That would be an interesting thing, though.
Taya will be also the ring worker and all that. Because
But I mean, think about it. Miz and Morrison, Maurice and Taya, like you can do a lot of damage to a lot of people's egos there.
Yeah, but also, Miz making that money in the briefcase kind of irrelevant right now. So
the only thing
In Miz's defense, the WWE made that briefcase.
Yeah, you beat me to it. I was
He's
going to say the
just
same
right.
thing. I was like, man, come on.
He's just
Technically
driving
right.
the nail.
I
in
mean,
the coffin.
when they hand it back to him, what's he supposed to do? Go, no. He's a
Oh,
heel. Like,
Yo, what happens if the Miz never cashes this before the Money in the Bank pay-per-view? What happens?
I will
Then he
say
loses
this: that
it,
would
but
be
he
that
will.
would be interesting if he was like the first guy to like forget to like cash it in or something.
I've been saying for
guess.
a long time they need to have a storyline where it's like, hey, you got a month left to cash this in, and the person holding the briefcase, they start panicking because they've got until the end of the next Money in the Bank pay-per-view to cash in, and it's a thing where it's like, okay, like say like the women's briefcase hasn't been cashed in yet, and let's say the women's ladder match kicks off the show. Okay, now for a brief time, there's two women's Money in the Bank briefcases. One of them
would expire before.
One expire. Well, depends on how they do it. It could just be it expires at the end of the night. Again, they can make up whatever rules they want. They can say it expires. It expires.
true.
On the
They murder people.
so
on
then
TV.
you can have a women's title match
They can
where
do
now
whatever
the
they want.
champion. So now they have a women's title match where now the champion not only has to worry about her opponent, but now there's two briefcases out there, and she knows for sure one of them's going to be popping up because it expires at the end of the night, and this is their last shot. I've been thinking this is a storyline. It'd be a long burn storyline, but it could create a certain amount of intrigue, especially if the new briefcase holder then thinks, oh, maybe I'll take advantage of this too. Let this person take the title off of them and waste their briefcase, and then I can cash in and win.
Speaking of talking smack, remember when Miz dropped that promo on Daniel Bryan? We're like, he's ready for a world championship title run. Now we're like, God, no.
No,
please,
I
stay
do.
away. Oh,
Carl,
I want that Miz back.
Yeah.
Please give me that all day.
They had him still going right up until the Shane McMahon WrestleMania match. I thought they did a pretty good job of keeping it at that level. It's when he got with Morrison, it just started going down.
So what I would like to do with your kind of idea, like the whole of like running out of time, is you get that champion who basically says like, I know your contract expires the Friday before Money in the Bank. So next 2 weeks, I ain't showing up. I'm going to be gone. I'll be at home, and just like force it to expire because they can't cash it in because the person's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the top of the hour, and I know Anakin has to go to work.
Yep.
Keep
So
getting
why don't
them
we wrap?
shirts.
Yeah, so we'll wrap it up at the hour. So we'll start with Anakin, considering he has the infamous tagline. Where they can find you, bud.
Find me on Twitter at AnakinJMT. I'm on the Mr.Warren Hayes Discord. So if you like having a good group of people to talk to, you can come there. It's pretty heavy on being big fans of AEW. So Dynamite Wednesday nights, there's always a lot of people going talking there. Also because a lot of them are Canadians and they just
Watermelon Mountain Dew.
don't get NXT. Yes,
Good stuff,
Yes.
by the way.
yes, the Watermelon Mountain Dew is the official drink of the Warren Hayes Discord, despite what Kristen Ashley says. It's not Baja Blast. Get that stuff out of here.
Did you know that a watermelon is the state vegetable for Oklahoma?
But it's not a vegetable.
It's the state vegetable of Oklahoma.
not a
Look it
vegetable.
up. I'm
Well,
just telling you.
It's well, you know what? It's Oklahoma. They're dumb anyway.
There you go.
Damn.
Damn.
And he's
They're
out.
they're the poor man version of
Mic
Kansas.
drop.
Mic drop.
Jesus. Oof.
All right, Ray. Tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter at AngryBeaver1127. I do pay-per-view prediction shows every once in a while. So we got Rumble in about 12 days. So I'll have one of those probably next week. So give that a check. And other than that, it's wrestling stuff. It's fun.
All right, Jeff, one of the tag team champions, former champs, where they can find you.
All right. I am at Northpaw Jeff, Jeff19 at Twitter, mostly wrestling stuff on there. And actually, I do a lot of DFS stuff too. So if you're actually interested in that. So.
All right. I'm going to start with, Anakin. It's already done. So why don't we start with John? John, tell them where they can find you.
Hey, you can find me on Facebook, Wrestling Plug Inc. The name right there. Twitter's Wrestling Plug. Instagram, WordPress. I just put out a spotlight with Jordan Dye. Go check that out. That's awesome. The dude's really good. He's in an upcoming promotion called Flaphouse Wrestling. They're doing some awesome stuff. That's where you can find me. I'm also in the Warren Hayes Discord room, with Anakin, talking about our love for Becky Lynch. So, what we do.
And
No Becky Lynch slander allowed.
Certainly, but not least, Mr. Spider-Man Sundays, Aaron Entertainment. Tell them where they can find you.
Well, thank you for that. You can find me on my Twitter handle at AirJsFan. It's scrolling down below. And you can find my YouTube channel, Aaron Entertainment. I posted a video yesterday of my weekly episode of It's All About Wrestling. And do a show Thursdays and a show Saturday. And pop up random videos time from time if something I have anything to say, or card unboxings or hobby packs for cards. Like last week, I got WWE cards, and 4 autographs: Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Io Shirai, and Seth Rollins.
And the best part about it is that Aaron has in talks with me to do the podcast, but it's going to be fun. The new channel is going to be having a soft launch very soon. Going to be doing a watch along with Ray. Hopefully Rob, if he's available, and Anakin, and anybody else is welcome to pop in and out. Other than that, just, go check out Sister Custom Designs. Also, there's a barbershop here. If you're ever around the Lowell area, check out 5 Star Barbershop. They do amazing work. Very soon we're going to have a lot of great stuff coming down the pike. So it's going to be a fun couple of months, especially with Elimination Chamber. Oh, that week's going to be fun.
Fast
March. Yeah, I'm going to be 40 that week, and I'm just going to be like, oh, this is going to be a party all week.
Joining the 40 club. Congratulations.
Yeah, pretty much. Lordy, I'll be 40. Do a good deed, pay it forward. Check out Fightful tomorrow. List of your boy 200 tomorrow, big time. Also, check out Wednesday Night Wars. It's going to be a good day.
Wear a damn mask too, so we can get some fans back.
Unless you have
I had 30 students gone yesterday.
I got this hanging up here, man. Look at all these.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Or better yet, what my friend calls a face
All
line.
math that I have.
Whatever.
All right. Do a good deed, pay it forward. Thank you guys for being here tonight. It really is, every time you guys are here is awesome. But have a good day, guys. Have a good night.
Peace.
Midwest takeover.
Woohoo!